coming on screen in a second, Tony. Excellent. Over here, Tony Curl. Tony, I've known for many years now. We've worked in similar industries and helping people in different ways and sometimes in similar ways. I've got a lot of respect for the work that Tony does and for his approach to helping people with leadership and helping people with their businesses. So Tony Curl, Think and Grow Business, also known as Coach Curl, so that we can distinguish him from Tony Bentel up the top in marketing. So Tony, what's your take on how people can alleviate some of that stress that we have from the media hype that we have around this at the moment?
Yeah, Kev, let me just start by saying that the respect is pretty mutual in respect of the resilience that you've shown. I know you're a sharp reporter and there was a hell of a long time there where being a marketing, so the resilience that you showed during that chapter of no premierships coming out of the Shire was just fantastic. So look, my take is some people may accuse me of being quite simple in this respect, but one of the key things that I see is that we've got to control and focus on our own controllables. So this is absolutely unprecedented. The amount of times that you hear that word nowadays in media conferences, it's unprecedented times, there's people using words like catastrophe and what have you. We've got to focus on our own controllables, and one of the things within my network, I've seen impacts within my network, and a lot of it is people that are providing those personal services, Kev. But one of the things that I keep talking about is this is the opportunity to focus in on what some of those things maybe that you thought you might want to do, but you haven't had a chance to do because you're so busy trying to provide your services. And one of the stories that I just want to very quickly share, when the global financial crisis hit, I was privileged to be with the Bunnings organisation at that particular time, and John Gillam was using the analogy of a racing car driver. And in business, and racing car drivers have a preferred line that they like to take to move around the racetrack. And, most drivers, when they're on the preferred racing line, predominantly run about the same sort of a pace. But he said where you win and lose the race is what happens when you're knocked off the third racing line. And then he used the analogy of what he saw as the global financial. He used the analogy when you're coming into a corner on a racetrack. Now, the reality is you're not going to take a corner at full pace. The reality for Bunnings at that particular time was we're going to put the brakes on. We're going to look at our business. We're going to review some of the things that we're doing. We'll get leaner. We'll get more efficient. Look for new opportunities out there in the marketplace. Because when we're coming out of that corner, that's when we really want to put the pedal to the metal. Because when you're coming out of the corner, that's when a lot of the other businesses start thinking about what is it that I need to be doing. And his whole philosophy was we need to be doing that as we're coming into the corner. So based around that, I've sort of looked at and shared with my network some of those key things. So focus on your controllables, expanding energy on things that might happen or don't, or focusing on fear is not a good thing. It's going to stop your growth. Review and assess every aspect of your business. And, last week, Kev, you spoke about Microsoft 365 and how potentially for some businesses that the dynamics and the what that software now provides for people may allow them to reduce some costs with other subscription software, for example. So
I believe Amber's going to talk about that a little later.
Awesome. Look for opportunity. And look for opportunity within the marketplace. Communicate internally, externally to your customers, internally to your team, and collaborate. It was interesting, even I'm the Vice President of the Redlands Coast Chamber of Commerce, and we've had to cancel our breakfast for tomorrow. But we also sent out a survey to our membership base, and within a couple of hours, we had hundreds of responses. So this thing that we're facing is really front of mind to a lot of people. But I guess the message that I really want to share is focus on what you can do. What's going to happen around you is going to happen around you. We've got no control over that. And one of the other messages that also coming out of, I think, the Australian Chamber of Commerce, of all places, is we need to look for collaboration opportunities, collaborative environments within other small businesses to help get us through that. So, and those opportunities are going to be relative and specific to each business out there. But if we're thinking about fear, doom and gloom, we're not going to even be looking for those opportunities, Kev. So, and that's where I guess the directory and being part of this 8,000 strong Facebook group is really something that people need to assess, reflect and think, who is out there that I can collaborate with? What are the opportunities that I can be doing as part of my business? Where else can I be, how else can I be serving my clients? So, but focus in on what you can control and don't let that fear stop you.
Absolutely. And I was actually reading from one of our members, Steve Plummer, the other day of Marketing Symmetry. He actually wrote a piece that I got, and it talked about how the word crisis actually comes from a Greek word that means choice. Okay. And you'll find as many people, you'll find that certain people will flourish in a time of crisis where others are going backwards. And they flourish because they're keeping their eyes open for the opportunities that are there, rather than, kicking the dirt with their head held low and only looking at their own little patch of ground. So it really is very important right now to be looking at how can we flourish during this time and make the most of what we've got, instead of, oh, woe is me. Because if your approach is, oh, woe is me, then what's going to happen is you're going to close down and not be the right business partner for others to be considering. So I want everyone to be thinking about how can we create different opportunities right now. So a really excellent point. The business strategy, your preferred line, you've been knocked off that preferred line, but at the same time, and Tony's just dropped out, I'm sure he'll come back in a second. At the same time, you can accelerate out of the corner if you prepare for doing that well. Focus on your controllables, review every aspect of your business and look for new opportunities. Absolutely great points. And I'm sure we'll hear from Tony again in a minute. Here he's come back, which is fantastic. Something happened between us all and he decided to leave. I was just reviewing what you said there.
Awesome.
In relation to what Coach Curl said, does anyone else on the panel have something to add? No? Okay. So that's what we've got on leadership. Everybody else is busy being quiet. We're going to stop picking on you, Coach Curl, and we're going to come upstairs